Paul's Kitchen. This is Chef Paul, and with me is the ever pregnant, ever awesome Chef Amy. Say hi, Chef Amy.
Hi.
Today we're going to make a hot sauce homemade pizza. Now, when I say hot sauce, I'm not going to try to burn anybody's mouth out. I'm totally not going to do that. What I'm going to use is 1 hot Thai chili and 1 onion. I've already got that in the food processor over there. That's set aside. Don't need that right now. I've got my little homemade cutting board because I'm really not in the mood to get one in. Don't care. Even though Chef Amy's a little cranky with me because she thinks I should, and she probably makes perfect sense. So I've got my pizza pan here, and I've already got some oil on it. And yeah, Sobeys had this for like $1.50 the other day. And Sobeys, for my American and foreign watchers, is one of our chain brands of grocery stores in Canada. If you're Canadian, I don't recommend you go to them unless you have to because they're super expensive. They complain that the price of food is going up and that's why they need to increase their prices. But in reality, that's not really the case. They turn out monster profits and that's why they do it. They're just greedy. You know, COVID hit and then they just thought that they'd make a huge profit off of our suffering, right? So anyways, it is what it is. So, but it was cheap, so I don't mind paying for it if it's cheap. I'm sure somebody that works for Sobeys hears me say that. They're not going to be too happy with me saying it. And I get it. Sue me. You'll lose because your prices do prove it. So I'm just going to take my hand and I'm going to put some flour on top of it because Amy knows just as well as I do that when working with dough, it's a bit of a pain in the butt because, well, it's sticky. Amy and most girls like to play with sticky stuff like Play-Doh and stuff like that growing up because they can be creative with it. But, you know, I'm quite a bit older now and so is Amy, and she doesn't like the sticky stuff as much as she did when she was younger.
Nope.
Now, I can use a rolling pin or a rolling pin if I want to, but it'd still get a little blood from Amy hitting me over the head with it the other day for some of my smart ass remarks. And again, that's a joke because Amy would never do that. I really have a very forgiving and graceful wife because she puts up with me making comments like that. And if you could see the look on her face right now, the story would tell it all. I've had plenty of friends tell me that she should hit me over the head with it.
No.
But she wouldn't. What do you have to say about that, Amy?
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, we know you wouldn't. You have to really anger Amy really, really bad before she'll even start uttering a curse word, let alone hitting you over the head with something. Because that's just not something she would do. This is my least favorite part of doing this because sometimes you have to really put your fist down to it. But if you're really angry with something, this is like the best thing for you because it feels like you can beat something up and you're not actually hurting anybody. You're not going to go to jail for it. I'm not the king of doing this, so I mean, if somebody has a better idea, or maybe I should actually get the wrong pin out, it might have made more sense. What do you think, Amy?
Yes. Get it for the corners. It'll probably help.
See, we actually did. There's no blood.
But make sure you, flour it.
So I'm going to move this over here. And everybody likes my messes. Our roommate's out right now. And she just spent a long time cleaning.
Milan wants to say hi, too. There he is.
And spending all this time cleaning yesterday, she's going to come home and get a little upset with all this big mess over her kitchen.
No, she'll be happy she gets pizza.
we're gonna just set this over here for now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Put on the oven.
So Colton and Alex, this is for you. You wanted to see hot pizza. Now, if you're serving other people and they really don't like the hot food, don't be mean and just make it to be a jerk, because that doesn't work that way.
Make some of the pizza that they can eat.
Yeah. Now, I really wanted to make a full-on, really hot, spicy pizza. But that would mean Amy's the only one that would actually eat it. And when I say only one actually eating it, I would make it so hot that she'd be crying. She likes that. No, she's not saying anything. She actually does like that. Don't ask me why, but she's Dutch and that's just the way she is. But what I'm going to do instead of making a scorching hot pizza, I'm going to make it instead to be more of a like a spicy crust. And how that's going to work is it's going to have enough spice to have a little bit of zing, and unless Alicia actually watches the video, she's not going to know what actually happened, because we're going to tell her that, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, this isn't hot. I didn't add any hot to it. So, Alicia, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, nothing but love. But I've only used one pepper. They're only little tiny ones, they're not big. So, Amy might have to get a little bit closer.
Yeah. Oh, and look at that.
Yeah, I guess it does pay to not be lazy.
Yeah, it fits the whole thing now. There we go. And we got good quality store-bought bread or dough that they made.
For $1.50, can't go wrong. Alright, so we're going to stop the video here for a second because we need to clean this off and put this back on here, and we'll be right back. But before we do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through the food processor until it's really, really fine and mixed up. And you don't need to hear me do that. That's one hot Thai chili pepper and one onion. We'll be back. Welcome back. So, are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, we're going to do a little bit because came up with a few ideas. So, I'm going to put some tajin. Amy might need to come a little closer. I'm going to dump that in here. Because I love tajin. It's really, really nice. And then I'm going to put a little bit of ground cinnamon. And then I'm going to put a little pepper. And why? Because just so that it can physically incorporate into this as much as possible. Now, I really do need to invest in a better food processor, because this one I don't really like as much, so we will get another one.
It does work, though. It's just a small quantity.
Yeah, I can only do so much.
Are we putting pizza sauce on first?
No.
Oh.
Don't tell me what I'm doing. Who's the chef here?
You.
So it's already got the pepper and the onion, and we're just going to spread this around, and I might need to do another batch. I hope not. Not that I'm trying to make a really super spicy pizza, because I wouldn't want to really do that, because there's enough people in this house who do not like the spice. but I wanted to give it a little bit of flavoring. And what this is going to do, it's going to help give the pizza sauce a little bit more flavor, and it's also going to give the crust some more flavor. Now, thank God no one else is home, or they'd actually see the peppers and start questioning things before they see the big surprise.
Yeah, it's only us home. And the kitty cats, but they won't tell on us.
Yeah, they love us more anyways. So maybe take a big whiff of that and tell me what you think. I think it smells really good.
Yeah, I do too.
Now, my biggest suggestion here, go to your Indian food store or Mexican food store. I don't know why you find it in Indian, but that's where we got ours. But, Tajin, and I'll show it to you again, this is the greatest thing in the world. If you're going to eat some fruit, put that on it. Pineapple, guacamole, tomato, apple, whatever, pear. This is amazing. I normally would make my own sauce, but Alicia, for whatever, bought this, and well, I'm not gonna just waste food. It's not a smart thing to do, and I don't believe in it. And it would sit there until it went bad, and it would be worthless. So let's not waste.
I think it's actually me who bought it.
Yeah, my own wife, the betrayer.
No.
Yeah, it is. Making pizza sauce is just like making marinara. It's just canned tomatoes, garlic, onion, spice. I prefer to make my own.
And we had all that too. We could have made our own.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't buy it. I think it was Alicia, actually. I don't think you'd ever do that. Something that insulting to me. But you want to make sure you cover it. But here's the thing: you also don't want to ladle it so it's too much. I'm going to tell you a little story. It's one of my favorite Gordon Ramsay stories. He used to go around and try to help some restaurants make money and get their business back on track. It may be for a TV show and it may be overly dramatized, but the concept's good. I mean, if you can go out and you can help a restaurant make money and try to figure out where their downfall is and what they can do to recover, I think that's awesome. It really is. And I learned more on that one episode about cooking properly than I did anything else from Gordon. And there's a few things. And I could be wrong. Maybe I learned this part from another episode. Maybe, but I don't think so. Number one, if you put too much sauce on, you just don't taste what you're supposed to taste, and it's not good for it. So I'm not saying leave the bare minimum, don't put any on. You want some on, but just don't make it so it's a swimming pool of it. The other part, and this part is the one that Amy grits her teeth at, gets really super angry about, is putting too much cheese on. In Amy's mind, she thinks there's no such thing as not enough cheese. But she's Dutch. She loves her cheese. That's her favorite thing in the world. But the problem is that when you load that thing with cheese so much, like you go out and you'd be stupid and you ask for a 4-cheese pizza. And it's just, that no toppings other than cheese. Just pure cheese. What happens is it becomes greasy. And Amy's Pizza isn't Amy as in Chef Amy. That's the Amy from New York City who owns Amy's Pizza. And her biggest flaw is her pizzas were so greasy they weren't really edible. And people began to get really upset and angry about it, and they lost business. And that's why they made Gordon. However, they didn't listen to Gordon. I'm not sure where they're doing today. But here's the joke. Amy, what's one of the most expensive parts of the pizza?
Cheese.
Yeah. So if they had just lowered the consumption of cheese on there, they'd save money and then make more money in return. Don't kill it with cheese. Anything I've learned from Gordon Ramsay, I'm sure Gordon would probably insult my cooking. Probably would. Hopefully he'd have something nice to say or something constructive, but, it's Gordon Ramsay. If actually watch one of my videos, which I really doubt he would, I'm sure he would have something to say, but that's the one thing I've taken away from it. So, Amy, make sure you get a good look at here. Got lots of sauce on here. The evidence has been leveled out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little break, and we're going to grate the cheese. And don't go out and buy a bag of already grated cheese. It's expensive, and it's not necessarily always pure cheese. Just saying. Buy a block, get a grater, and do it yourself. You'll save money because you'll get more cheese out of a block than you will out of a bag. It's better. And then we're going to cut some veggies up, and we'll be back for the next step. And you know what? Then we'll be ready to put in the oven. So we're almost there. Welcome back. So we got things cut up. So I'm going to start the oven on 450 degrees because we need to have this preheated, which probably didn't give it enough time, but whatever. I'm patient. Amy isn't, but I am. Okay, now it's on preheat. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more spice on here because I like spice. So I'm going to use smoldering smoked applewood. And then I'm going to use some fajita spice seasoning. Why? Because it really does taste good on a lot of tomato sauce stuff. And then I'm going to use some smoked paprika. I know that just sounds a little strange, but trust me, it's going to be good. So, we've got some sweet peppers. And don't worry, if you cut up some and you're finding you don't have much, then you know what? You can always cut more. It's not a big deal. It's only going to take you a few minutes to do. It's not the end of the world. Now, you don't want to overload your pizza with too many toppings, because, I mean, I know what some people are going to say, well, it's always going to taste good. It's not going to bake great either.
It's going to be a mess.
Your wife being a hot mess and your food being a hot mess are two different things, and not to be mixed up. Sweet peppers are really good. If you're ever trying to make something and it's just missing a certain sweetness, and you think maybe you want to add some sugar to it, but you really don't want to, see if you can add some sweet peppers. Because honestly, they really do help.
And they're good for you.
Very good for you. There's no sugar involved, but they will sweeten things up. There's a layer of sweet peppers.
And that was only one sweet pepper, by the way.
Then we cut up some baby tomatoes. If you got vegetables that are going to go bad soon and you need to do something with them, pizza's the perfect thing to make, because you can just cut things up and you can just do stuff with that. Just want to make sure that you're spreading as much on here where everything's the same color. It's being a little bit of a challenge for me, but I just hope I'm doing a little bit here. You know, Quo fan, if you're watching this, buddy, this is where you want to add some jalapeno to add a little bit more color. Jalapeno would be really good. Quo fan suggested to me yesterday that I should be putting jalapeno in this for Amy.
But the rest of you couldn't eat it, so no.
Yeah.
I don't agree. If we could have made 2 pizzas, then yes. But we only had enough for 1, so no.
Yeah, and that's why we're not doing that. So now I'm going to use some Tajin. I know if you're Mexican, you're probably getting really upset with the way I'm saying this right now, but I'm not Mexican and I'm not really experienced with it, so I'm doing this best I can. So that's the end of that. And now for the meat, we're using some salami. Quo fan said that we should use some skewers. We do have skewers, but this got to get eaten, so...
we'll use the skewers another day.
Yeah, if we do it for pizza, maybe, I don't know, but there's a million one uses for them, so I'm not worried about that.
No.
And like I said, if you find that you just don't have enough, you just go back and cut more, unless that's all you bought. But this would be a good excuse if you ran out of this and you didn't have enough, then maybe it's time to bring the bacon out. Make two meats. Meat lovers with some veggies on it.
Yeah, that would work.
You can do that. Like,
You can do whatever you want.
pizzas are great because you can literally make it your way. You don't have to. Like, you go to Pizza Delight, they'll have their selection of what they make, but often if you go to a really good pizza joint, you tell them what you want, even if they don't know what it is. You just tell them what it is you want, and they'll do it. If they're a good pizza joint. If they're not, they'll argue with you. Now, a few things I wanted to talk about. Kitchen use. Number one, when it pertains to your toaster, not using it, unplug it. Why? Because it can be a fire hazard.
I forgot. Oops.
I wasn't saying that Amy did it. I wasn't naming names.
I know, but I was thinking me because I was the last one to use it. So
But always unplug things you're not using them. You don't need to leave them open, then don't. Because it's not good. And she's probably going to have to cut more cheese.
well, I did good with everything else.
Yeah, we did good with everything else.
Yeah. If I just short on cheese, that's pretty good.
Coming from the Dutch woman, that's pretty impressive. But this is the level of cheese that I would probably put on it. I wouldn't put much more.
So we only need a little bit more then.
Yeah. So we'll be right back. We'll put the rest of the cheese on, then we'll put it in the oven. So we're back. So Amy's starting to act up, and we hopefully have enough cheese this time. Otherwise, there should be problems.
Hey, I did pretty good. I got all the other ingredients just right. It's just I was short on cheese.
Yeah, well, I'll make you walk out in the corner.
No,
And she got lucky.
there was enough.
There was enough. And again, you really don't want to overdo cheese because it's the stupidest thing you'll do on a pizza because it'll just become a pile of grease. Another thing too, and guys, foods change all the time. Companies put in new recipes, and I'll give you one example, and I'm trying to think of what it was right now. It was something really retardedly stupid, something that we've trusted for years. And I'm not so concerned about having a low sodium count. I like having a low sodium count as low as I can get, but Amy is having a little bit of an issue with her blood pressure right now, so she really needs to be as minimalist on sodium as she can. And we went out and we bought something that we normally do. Now, Paul, you always preach to us that you got to read food labels. Well, it's that one time we were pretty sure it was safe because we bought it before and we've already read the food label. And it was that one time that we did, and it wasn't. And guess what? Amy had half a thing of something she shouldn't have had because the company changed. So learn from us. Always check the food labels because
You never know.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do here is this is our pizza. I've got this preheated on 450 degrees. When the timer goes on, we're gonna put the pizza in. We're gonna leave it in for about 20 minutes. But here's the thing. Amy's gonna keep an eye on it and watch it for a little bit. When the crust looks like it's done, everything's all cooked on top, then we can take it out. Don't just trust it's gonna take 20 minutes. Everybody's oven's different. Might take you 15. Might take you 25.
Might take you 30. Who knows?
It probably won't take you 30. But keep an eye on your pizza. Watch it. We'll come back when we're done with the final product. Welcome back. So I'm going to get Amy a little bit closer because she's taking way too long shot. But this is our pizza. Everything looks done here. And yeah, Amy was right. Roller pin was probably the best way to do it. All the ingredients look cooked. We're going to let that sit, and we're going to cut it, and we'll be able to eat soon. Amy had something she wanted to say before we go.
Hi, Colton. How are you? And doesn't our pizza look amazing?
I think it does too. Did you have anything else you want to say?
No,
What about that special something?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? I talked
I
about
don't
it
know
all
what
last
you're
night.
talking about.
Of course you don't, because I'm just making that up. But please hit the like, share, subscribe button, and whenever in doubt, you're getting aggravated, beat that meat.